presenting, ladies and gentlemen,
Hard-boiled Haggerty in the ring now.
Today is the heyday of the pretty boy. Kowalski is called killer for helping Gene Stanley of Chicago.
She likes it. Oh, boy, that can hurt.
Right here at the ringside while we go in for a riot of roughhouse that's flatly called wrestling.
The Oxford Dictionary describes the word valiant as meaning someone who displays bravery, who is bold, courageous and daring, someone who is fearless and heroic, someone with great valor. History has brought forth many such individuals, from the knights of days gone by to those who have fought in the many wars of the 20th and 21st century so as to maintain our freedom. Today they are seen in our police force and our firemen, and all those who serve and protect us in all of its many and varied forms. Within the sporting world, we also have our heroes who on occasion display great valor. One such individual hails from the world of wrestling, and coincidentally, or maybe not, his name is Jimmy Valiant, sometimes known as the Boogie Woogie Man.
You understand? But my folks moved up to Illinois, northern Indiana, Hammond, Indiana. I was the last child of 5. I have 4 older sisters. I'm the only boy, and I was raised right there in Hammond, Indiana. So I had a great, raising as far as a lot of love, and I'm a loving person to this day because of my mom and dad. I went through high school, and that's the only thing that kept me out of college, was high school, I didn't go to college, but I wanted to, go on and do something with my body. I started training real young, 12, 14 years old, and I wanted to make my living with my body. In fact, I started wrestling, just early 20 years old, and I took to it, like a duck take to water, and I loved it, and of course, it took my whole working career. It was 40 years. I wrestled for 40 years. I started wrestling in 1964, and I wrestled until 2004, 40 years, over 40 years. My first match was in Chicago, Illinois. It was May 5th in 1964. I started wrestling. They gave me my first name, which was Jimmy Valentine. And that was my first name, and then I went on, my second name, I went on to the original Sheik in Detroit, and he named me Big John Vallon. And then I went to Vern Gagne, WWA, and he called me Jimmy the Body Vallon. I went on from there to Fritz von Erich in the late 60s, and he named me Handsome Jimmy Valiant.
Once again, after firing Jimmy into the ropes, the bear hug put on by the assassin.
In the 60s, 70s, I was a bad character, I'd come out and I wasn't a fan favorite, and now, it's cool not to like the bad guys, it's cool to like the good guy, but in the 60s, 70s, it was like night and day, man. I mean, they hated the villains and they loved the good guys, and it was serious, I mean, hey, I've been cut, man. I've been burnt with cigarettes, I've been spit on, and that's just getting in and out of the ring, going to the ring. I wouldn't, I'd have my wife take my daughters to school to enroll them, because it was serious. I didn't want them to get teased or them to have any heat at all, but I was the first to come out to music in Mid-Atlantic there. In early 70s, myself and beautiful Bobby They came out to music in Madison Square Garden with manager Ernie Roth. The Grand Wizard. It was something that no one's ever seen in Madison Square Garden, and it got over.
So Jimmy was interviews and in-ring, so colorful, and the outfits, and then the music album that they cut that was never released that people still talk to this day, Captain Lou and the Valiants too. And it was something else, and boy did the crowd. He was the guy they loved to hate, but they certainly loved Jimmy Valiant. Oh, handsome Jimmy Valiant. I was there and shot quite a few of the Madison Square Garden matches, and that place was rocking and rolling. Valiants. It was magic.
I was tag team for 5 years with my brother Johnny, and people still talk about it, as the Valiant Brothers. It was a real hot item. That was only a 5-year span. My other tag team partners, I tag team with all of them, with everybody, from Dusty Rhodes to Andre the Giant, you name it, I had some, feuds with Dick the Bruiser as singles, Jerry Lawler, that feud lasted, for 15 years, Paul Jones lasted over 5 years. He had a whole army of people that he had coming against Jimmy.
He was a character, but he was a credit to the game, I think, professional wrestling.
We were making money like doctors and lawyers. We was making $100,000 a year in 1970s, 60s, 80s, and doctors go with 7 at that time, they go 8 years of college, and no college, so yeah, it was good, it was great. Money, I mean, I used to buy a couple new cars a year, like it just run right through your hands. I'd blow it, I'd give it away. Big Mama, my toe says Big Papa. Tattoos is something that I just wanted to do. It's not for everybody, It's something, I had my first tattoo when I was 12 years old. Me and my couple buddies put it on, and it's something that I didn't have that many as I was wrestling, but when I got out of wrestling, I filled up, and hey, it's something, me, that I wanted, I met Angel. I was at a autograph session at a Walmart. It was a grand opening, and it was just 14 years ago, just a week ago.
I went into a Walmart store on my way back home, and he was set up signing autographs at a table, and
she came to the table, and we took a picture together. And I put my arm around her and had taken the picture, and
I really didn't know who he was because I didn't watch wrestling all the time. But
I asked her if she was married, and she says no. And I says, do you want to get married? This is while the picture's taken.
Pretty much asked me to marry him right away. It was really, I was not used to that.
It's something that just came to me, God sent her to me, and luckily she was not married and I was not married, both of us at the time, and I said, look, because there's a line of people, and I said, look, if you will do me a favor, please, and this may sound way out or too much for you, but if you write your telephone number down, please. I say, I promise you, I just want to meet you. I says, if you don't do this, you may walk out that door, we may never meet again. But if you do, if you will, give me your telephone number, I promise you, young lady, that we will take our time
It was great. He's wonderful, and I wouldn't change a thing about our marriage relationship.
4 months later, we were already married. So that's how, so we took our time. But she's the love of my life, I'm telling you, and brother, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her. I would like to say to Jimmy, you know, thank you for just making my life just wonderful. Every day's wonderful with him.
Jones at ringside, having a little squabble down there while Handsome Jimmy gets a little sermon. The assassin had something in his headgear. We can see him take it out while the referee's over checking Handsome Jimmy. Lawler checking the handcuffs. Referee checks over the headgear, but he obviously has long since taken it out. I burnt the candles at both ends, doing, you know, what I chose to do and what I love to do, and you know, your body can only take so much. I tease and tell people, you know, I wore out probably two or three regular people's bodies, you know, and right now I'm real lean. But by choice, I'm vegetarian. I was 280 pounds, 90 pounds one time. I force-fed myself to get big. I'm not a big guy. I'm 6'3", but I'm not a real big man, big bone man, you know. Right now I weigh the same as I did in high school. Jimmy's health's good, you know. Few aches and pains like anyone, you know, after any kind of sport you're going to have aches and pains, but his health is good. But Angel, my Angel, she's a real angel. You know, she saved my life by many ways, and one was, you know, getting me straightened up. In other words, going back to nature, as far as feeding my body, and you know, no more abusing my body, you know.
Victor Hugo wrote in 1862 that the supreme happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved. Jimmy Valiant is extremely happy. He has the love of his wife Angel, and the love of the wrestling fans, both at his Hall of Fame and his peers all around the world.
I hope that they remember me as, of course, as well as they can, you know, and I hope that they come out and to spend time at the museum and Hall of Fame. This is something that I will be, this is my legacy. Is there, see, and when I'm gone, that's going to be there, and this is how I want to be thought of. I would like people to remember Jimmy just for his generosity, for how he affected people's lives, you know, just making them happy, you know, coming to see him in the ring. You know, that made them happy because they got to see their hero, but I think more of an impact just because of the person he is, not because of the wrestler he was.
Handsome Jimmy Valiant going against the assassin. Rooting the Handsome Jimmy on as he really racks up. Whip. Bear hug, and he picks up Handsome Jimmy. Let me tell you, he's no lightweight either. The assassin squeezing hard. Lawler trying to cheer Jimmy on. Jones starts to pull Lawler back in a chair. Lawler turns around and said, "I'll knock your block off."
reaches up and grabs the hair of Lawler, and Lawler knows how to take care of that. Handsome Jimmy booms the assassin down. Goes for the throat. Paul Jones grabs it. Oh, look at here. He came off that top rope while Jones had grabbed the referee. Jimmy rolls out of the way, and here comes the boogeyman. He's knocked back in the middle of the ring. Handsome Jimmy going for the mask. He's got a right to pull it off. He lost it. And there's the assassin unmasked. I don't know him from what I can see of him. Handsome Jimmy the winner. 8 minutes and 39 seconds.
In 1867 it was written, "Great men are they who see that spiritual is stronger than material, and that positive thoughts can rule the world." Handsome Jimmy Valiant certainly is the spiritual ruler of his newfound world, and is a positive icon to those who may wish to follow in his footsteps within the world of professional wrestling.
I have no downside of professional wrestling. It's all been good to me, you know. I raised my families, and you know, I'm giving back to the. I just want to be a goodwill ambassador for professional wrestling, and this one way is my wrestling camp in Virginia, you know, and anything I can do for any kind of. People that need, you know, someone to support, or any kind of foundation that I can work for, you know, I have time for that now, you know, and I want to give. I'm a giver. I'm a real giver, brother, and now I have the time, and this is what I want to do the rest of my life.
He will give and give more, and he's awesome. He's just an awesome, fabulous person.
Please refer to your manuals.